We're kicking off today with AEW, and next month, the company will host its biggest event ever with All In, and given that the show is taking place in the UK, many expect Will Ospreay to be on the card. After two epic matches with Kenny Omega earlier this year, one at Wrestle Kingdom, the other at Forbidden Door, fans expect a rubber match in London, but that seemingly isn't the plan. Fightful Select has learned that while AEW does have plans for Ospreay at All In, he'll instead be facing Chris Jericho in a match that Don Callis will play a factor in. Callis has been attempting to recruit Jericho for some time on AEW TV, but was also in the corner of Ospreay during his IWGP US title win against Omega at Forbidden Door last month. If Omega vs. Ospreay 3 isn't the plan, this leaves the cleaner free for another match at All In, with fans speculating that we'll finally see the Elite vs. CMFTR at AEW's biggest ever event. Whatever matches end up happening, All In will be a huge show for AEW, and are you excited for Ospreay vs. Jericho? Or would you rather see Will tear it up with Omega one more time? Later this week, NXT will host its Great American Bash event, which in addition to plenty of title matches, will see the in-ring debut of Gable Steveson. Much has been said about the Olympians in signing with WWE in 2021, but how exactly did this in-ring debut against Baron Corbin come about? During a media call to promote the show, Shawn Michaels was asked about the Olympic gold medalist and shared how this match has come together. He said, "I'll be straightforward, honest. Steveson had been here and I wanted to know, hey, I want to do something with this guy. I want to get him into the mix. Can I do that? Again, there are some times some people fall into different genres, different rules. I don't ask a lot of questions, to be perfectly honest, but he is someone that I felt like, if we're gonna do something with him, let's do it. I think perhaps it was something that slid off someone's desk, so I brought it up and I got the go-ahead. Maybe a little abrupt, but I wanted to throw him into the deep end and let's see how this is going to go." WWE initially had plans for Steveson to skip NXT and go straight to the main roster, but after he didn't show sufficient progress in wrestling, decided it was best for him to be in the Gold brand. More recent reports have clarified that Steveson is progressing very well in his training, and are you excited for his debut match this weekend? Let us know down in the comments. During the WWE draft earlier this year, around a dozen superstars were called up to the main roster, but some have yet to make their presence felt on TV. Odyssey Jones was drafted to Raw as part of the shakeup, but now WWE has other plans in mind for the heavyweight. That's according to BWE, the proven WWE insider, who reports that despite a move to Raw, Jones will be making his debut on SmackDown in the near future. WWE is said to have been impressed the last time he worked a pre-show, and while it's unclear why he's already been moved from one brand to another, fans can expect him on Team Blue soon enough. Jones isn't the only recent call-up to be missing from WWE TV at the moment, as it was last year that Dexter Lumis returned to WWE and did so as part of the Raw roster. Despite a lengthy program with The Miz and a tease of a reunion of The Way with Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell, Lumis has vanished from WWE TV, leaving many to ask questions about his status with the company. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select noted that contrary to some rumors online, Lumis isn't hurt, nor has he been quietly released as some have speculated. Instead, Lumis simply isn't being used right now, and is simply sat at home collecting WWE's paychecks, which is hardly the worst position he could be in. Despite WWE's PG ratings, Lumis has been allowed to play a dark character who is often teased to be a serial killer, but we'll just have to wait for plans for his return to be created and put into motion. It was back in April and May that WWE held its latest draft that the company said that they would strictly adhere to, but that no longer appears to be the case. After all, we've already seen superstars from Raw and SmackDown appear on the other show, and it seems that WWE's connection with their rosters is very loose right now. BWE even reports that WWE's commitment to their draft picks is a hairline at the moment, and that the company isn't overly bothered about talent appearing on shows they're not a part of. It also reported that given the success of the Judgment Day, who are hits no matter which show they appear on, WWE are happy to use the appropriate talent for each show, regardless of their brand. It is also said that the Judgment Day has balanced out things by appearing on multiple brands, something the Bloodline used to do before the group crumbled in recent months. It's clear that WWE's exclusive rosters aren't as exclusive as they once were, and despite all the hype around the draft just a matter of months ago, expect plenty more superstars to cross over onto other brands. Draft or no draft, we've seen several main roster superstars make their way to NXT in recent years as part of an initiative to attract viewers that was orchestrated by none other than Nick Khan himself. The New Day, The Judgment Day, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, and Natalya have all made their ways to NXT at one point in time or another, and who will be the next to make the jump? During his media call to the press, Shawn Michaels addressed the habit of main roster talent trying themselves in NXT and named who he'd like to see appear next. He said, "We're thrilled to get what we do get, but I'd love to have the Brawling Brutes down here. I wouldn't mind, Imperium. Look, I'd love to have Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens down here, anyone who's willing to come down here and help us out from the main roster. Let's put it this way, I wouldn't think we would be turning a lot of people down." The use of main roster talent in NXT has certainly paid off, with Dominic Mysterio's North American title win over former champ Wes Lee drawing over 800,000 viewers earlier this month. Nick Khan's plan is to boost the ratings for NXT so that WWE gets a better deal when the show's media rights are due, but who would you like to see from the main roster appear on the Gold brand? As we've seen many times, CM Punk has a tendency of making enemies in wrestling, having done so in ROH, WWE, and most recently AEW. Despite this, Punk has been granted another opportunity in AEW and is said to be the locker room leader of Collision, but this week ruffled some feathers behind the scenes. Ahead of the recent ROH Death Before Dishonor event, a t-shirt was revealed, one that had the wrong day, saying the show was on a Saturday, and the wrong city, that being Newark. It's quite embarrassing for AEW ROH for such basic errors to be made and put on a shirt, and on Instagram, Punk decided to share the shirt and clearly found these mistakes hilarious. What makes this even more interesting is that AEW's head of merchandise, who will have overseen the shirt, is Dana Massey, who is also the wife of the Young Bucks' Matt Jackson. It's no secret that Punk and the Bucks have had issues, and it's hard to see why Punk would bring attention to this shirt and essentially make the company he works for look bad. At the show itself, a correct shirt was sold, but was Punk just having fun online, or was this another case of him causing issues with the Elite? We'll let you be the judge. There was a time when WWE had big plans for Lacey Evans, who was supposed to dethrone Asuka for the Raw Women's title in 2021, but those days are a distant memory for the Southern Belle. Despite multiple returns to TV, WWE just seems to be unable or unwilling to push Evans as a major star, and don't expect that trend to be ending anytime soon. A source in WWE's creative told Ringside News that there is absolutely nothing in the works for Evans right now, so her latest hiatus from TV will just have to continue for the time being. And we're ending with some movie news, as for some time, The Iron Claw has been in production, which will tell the story, both good and bad, of the legendary Von Erich wrestling family. The family had a huge impact on the industry during the latter half of the 20th century before undoing a lot of tragedy, and we now have a release date for the film. Variety reports that the film will release in theaters in the United States on December 22nd and isn't expected to debut at any festivals ahead of this release date. Zac Efron will play the role of Kevin Von Erich, while AEW World Champion MJF will also have a role in the film, and we hope that The Iron Claw lives up to the hype when it releases this December.